God, feels like 1,000 years ago. We drafted Tim, Tony, Manu, fought adversity, made a name for ourselves, became champions. Realized that we loved you. We're not a team that likes surprises. Hopefully this can be the last one. The league has changed. None of us can go back. All we can do is our best. And sometimes the best we could do is to start over. Some say it's time to move on. Some will. But not us. Even if there's a small chance, we owe this to everyone who is not in this room to try. And we will. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. What is up, my international Spurs Nation friends, my friends in Spurs Nation? You come in here on YouTube and check out what we got going on here at Spurs Film Room. And you guys come from all over the world. So today, man, let me know where you guys are right now, where you're watching from. Represent whatever state, city, or country that you live in, and put it down in the chat. Today, this is a open Q&A, right? So this is going to be very informal. You guys, we have comments, questions, type them in, put them in the chat. I'm going to go through as many of them as I can for a little while and pull them out, put them on screen, and leave them on screen so we can kind of continue to discuss. I'll give you my take on all that stuff as well. Let me know in the chat where you're watching from, like I just said, and a big que paso to Countdown City, Fiesta Town, Riverwalker, Spurs Nation, Rowdy Nation. What's up? I'm your host, Rob Trejo Jr., and this is Spurs Film Room live on Fridays. We're going to do this open Q&A. So this should be a lot of fun. Go ahead and put your questions and comments into the chat room, and we're going to be pulling them out as we go along. The main topic for today is, what the thumbnail and the title of this episode is, and it's really asking how important were Derrick White and Luka Samanic's kind of absence from this past season. How much did that impact us this season, and how important are they going to be in this upcoming season next year? That's something I really want to get your take on. If those two guys really do hold the key to success for this team, for this young group of guys, or is it somewhere else? Is it free agency and all that type of stuff, right? So that's the main question for today. But before we get into it, again, guys, the tip jar is always open. You can find the link in the description below. If you like Spurs basketball, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Got a lot going on here. Make sure that you check out all the content that we're dropping on the regular. And if you're listening to this post live show on Apple Podcast or Spotify, what's up to my podcast listeners out there? Please, wherever you're watching, hit the like button, subscribe. There's a little notification bell if you want to get notified when we go live. Trying to go live every day, Monday through Friday on this channel, right? So I'm experimenting with like I've been saying all week. I'm experimenting with times to go live, right? Tried 5, 6, today's 6 o'clock and whatnot. So please just, hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, even if it's as simple as go Spurs go. We got Spurs Nation here dropping a question. Do you think Luka should start next year at power forward instead of overpaying for Collins and Markkanen? Bro, I like where this is going. Spurs Nation, shout out to you on YouTube. That's a great question. And that's kind of, the 1-2 punch of today's main topic between Luka and Derrick White. But that's a great question. We'll get into it here in a second. Just want to let you guys know again, if you want to go to the tip jar link in the description below, it's going to take you to a page that looks like this. You can drop in $1, $2, $3, $10, whatever you feel so inclined to contribute to this channel. Much is appreciated. Go Spurs, go. Everything is all love over here. Okay, so thank you guys. All that being said, okay, guys. All right, so here we go. Main topic for today is about two guys in particular, and that's Derrick. This season, the Spurs leading three-point shooters, and I think I'm going to start here on on how they can affect the game from the three-point line, which is pretty much the area of the game where we had struggled in this season the most. If you look at total attempts across our roster. Let me tell you who shot the most threes, right, this season. That's Patty Mills is number one by a landslide, right? Patty Mills shot 429 threes. Next up, second most was Lonnie Walker with 282, Rudy Gay 278. So, I mean, Patty outshot everybody in the quantity amount. And talking about field goal percentage, well, out of those guys, Patty shot 37%. Rudy Gay shot it just a tad better, 38%. Lonnie Walker at 35%, right? So next season is a big offseason. We're not going to have two of the guys that we just talked about. We're not going to have Rudy Gay. We're not going to have Patty Mills on the roster. Well, at least as soon as this season ends, they're going to be off the roster. Now, I'm not eliminating the possibility that Rudy Gay and Patty Mills don't return. I honestly, I wouldn't feel too bad about that unless they're coming back in the same role. Then I definitely have a problem with that. But, if both of those guys are gone, and I wouldn't be too sure that Patty's gone, but man, I don't know if we can ask him to lead our team in three-point shooting again and be as successful as we need to be. Nothing against Patty. It's not a knock on Patty or Rudy Gay. Very appreciative of everything that they did this offseason. Thank you for subscribing, Spurs Nation. Appreciate you, man. We'll go ahead and get to your questions here in a little bit. But if those three guys, Lonnie Walker, I would think has to be the guy that kind of steps up into that role and starts taking maybe the most threes on our squad. That has to be Lonnie moving forward if we're talking about like into the future, right? But if you're going to ask me who should be second and who should be third, Derrick White, he only played, let me see, Derrick White only played 36 games. He started 32 of the games. And he was shooting 34% from the field. He actually, let's go back and look at the attempts. Derrick White, even though he played only, about half of the games as Patty Mills and Rudy Gay and Lonnie Walker did, he shot almost as many as they did, right? So Derrick White finished shooting the year on 30. Let me just compare. Rudy Gay played 63 games this season. Derrick White only played 36 games this season, and they were only about 35 shots. There's only 35 shots between them in the three-point column in attempts this year, right? I'm talking about in attempts, right? So Rudy Gay hit 106 threes this year. Derrick White hit 84, right? Lonnie Walker hit 100 threes this year. Derrick White hit 84. So I'm saying, so Derrick White is that next guy. If you're not talking, if Patty and Rudy are gone next season, it's going to be Lonnie and who should be your number one and number two guys out of the players that we have right now on the roster. Who should it be? And the answer is Derrick White should be number two. right? So when we're talking about 3-point shooting, Derrick White and Lonnie are your 1-2 punch moving forward. Now, who's in that third spot though? Then it gets kind of iffy, and you kind of don't know where to look after that, right? Because DeJounte Murray, he was 63 for 199, shot 31% on the field. 31%. I expect DeJounte, like I said a few episodes ago, to be in the gym this year working on this 3-ball. And I think that 31% this year for DeJounte should end up being closer to 36 or 37% by next season. So he should be shooting a higher clip. But do we want really DJ shooting more threes? I don't think so. I think DeJounte taking the amount of threes that he took this year is fine. He just needs to make more of them, right? He just needs to make more threes. Then you got guys like Keldon Johnson with 181. Devin Vassell shot 150 threes. But then further down the list, you have Luka Samanic. Now, if I was a betting man, I would say that next year, let's say the vets are gone, our top 3-point shooters are going to be 1, Lonnie Walker, 2, Derrick White, 3, I would put Luka Samanic. And Luka Samanic, we're going to talk about him in a second. Spurs Nation in the chat room asked some great questions there about Luka. I think he's going to be probably one of our more important 3-point shooters on our squad next year. I expect him to play more. I don't think there's any more holding Luka back. And I think that next season, where he's going to make a lot of his bread, is going to be on kickoffs from penetration from DeJounte, from Derrick, from a Keldon, right? Catching and just pulling on the 3-point line. And I think that other than Luka, it's Devin Vassell, right? We've seen what Devin Vassell can do from the 3-point line. This year, he was 52 for 150, shot 34% from the 3-point line. That's not bad at all, right? That's not bad at all. Out of guys that actually played good amount of minutes this season, Devin Vassell was only outshot really by the guys that I'm telling you right now, and that's Patty, Lonnie, and Rudy, right? So Devin shot better this season from the 3-point line than DeJounte, DeMar, Keldon. Yeah, just edged out Keldon. And then it's Devin Vassell. So Luka Samanic and Derrick White, to me, are going to have a huge role this season, especially from the 3-point line and really spacing the floor. And this goes to the first question that I'm going to pull out here, and that's from Spurs Nation. Do you think Luka should start next year at power forward instead of overpaying for Collins and Markkanen? Man, I would say I would put my money on yes, on that being yes, and that actually being a thing that the Spurs look to do, because the Spurs are smart in that way. They're like, look, we've been grooming this guy for 2 years, teaching him, like communicating with him, having him learn our system, our culture, our terminology. Why would we, and he's actually, Luka has a huge upside, right? Like he has an upside just as high as any of those other guys that you're talking about here. And yeah, Collins is a little bit more physical. Markkanen's bigger, right? So it's really over. If we're talking about incorporating shooting, I would say yes. I would say that if you're looking at the 3-point problem and you're thinking, okay, can Collins come in here and help us? Can Markkanen come in here and help us? Or should we just give Luka his deserved opportunity to go out and play? I would say give it to Luka, and let's look to, focus our money somewhere else if that's just the issue. Now, I think Collins and Markkanen bring a lot to the table, but Luka could very well be a starter next season. And, I wouldn't necessarily say he starts over Keldon. I would like to see both of them in the game. But if only one of them has to be in the game to start, this season, having Keldon Johnson in the starting lineup was something that was necessary, right? He brought the juice, the energy. But I think if we want to talk about spacing the floor, well, who does that better? We'll have to wait and see until Luka gets the real run to show us. But it should be Luka, if that's what we're talking about. So the next question here from Spurs Nation, I'm gonna keep going down this chat room here. How much do you think Lonnie Walker will get paid if he gets extended this offseason? because he is eligible for an extension this summer going into his final year of his contract next season. Yeah, so Lonnie Walker being extended is probably one of the higher priorities in the coaching staff and in that room going into the offseason, like what's important, draft, extent, to taking care of all these issues that need to get taken care of. DeMar, right? Locking up Lonnie for a few years is something that we need to do. I think we give him just as much as we gave like Derrick White, and we gave DeJounte. Davis Bertans kind of got a little bit more. Davis was getting $7 million a year, I think, when he was with us. But I think we try to extend Lonnie to maybe about $5 to $7 million a year, just depending on how that falls in there with the money, because we'll have the money to spend. That's just a situation that we're in this season, is just that we have the money to spend. Let me see. Right now, Lonnie is making 2.89, pretty much almost a little bit under $3 million a year. That's what Lonnie made this season. Derrick White made 3.56. I know those guys came in just a few years apart, but we're not going to be looking to overpay Lonnie. It's not the time yet. He hasn't really earned that yet. He's definitely earned the extension. I think we're definitely going to make him happy and give him somewhere between hopefully $4 and $7 million to stay here. Trey Lyles was getting paid $5.5. So I'm not here to knock anyone for getting as much money as they do. Go get your money, right? So, I hope Lonnie can get as much as he can, and we have money to spend, right? So I think spending a little bit on Lonnie isn't too bad of an idea, but definitely locking him in for the next 2 to 3 seasons. It's a 3-year, I think, extension. Is something that we want to do and let him continue to grow with us, and then just pay him what he's due and what he deserves when the time comes. All right, so another question here from Spurs Nation. I think out of all our young players, Vassell has the most potential because he is a 3-level scorer and has tremendous shot creation. Would you agree with that? Yeah. Yes. Before this season, Lonnie Walker was really the only guy you can say that about. Lonnie Walker was really the only guy that can dazzle you at the rim. He had that sweet. He's been showing it from year one that he has that 1 dribble, 2 dribble pull up in mid range, or he'll come down in transition, pull up at the free throw line, and just kill you from the mid range game. And he has the 3 ball, right? So Lonnie's had them all since he's his rookie season. He spent a lot of his rookie season just dominating offensively in the G League, and he showed a lot of that. So I think the only other guy at this current state to be a 3-level scorer that has shown it is Devin Vassell. Luka Samanic is more of a 3. He's gonna shoot, he's gonna catch and shoot, or he's gonna catch and drive and go all the way to the rim. Rarely do you ever see Luka pull up mid-range for a jumper. And I think he's gonna have it in the future. Luka's skilled, right? Luka's a very skilled guy. So I think he can add it. But right now, Devin Vassell shows flashes of elite scoring ability. I remember I compared him a little bit to Ray Allen in the beginning of the season. He reminds me a lot of, obviously, of Kobe and who else is really sick here in this mid-range? His pivots, he's way ahead of his years in the term of shot creation. Like you said, he knows how to catch and turn and make a right move to get his shot off in the mid-range. Like you said, catching, and we talked about him earlier. He's a pretty good 3-ball shooter already. And then figuring out how to score in transition is gonna be his thing too. Yeah. So he's 3-level. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts maybe in the next season or 2 over maybe a guy like Lonnie. I think if you want to be real about it, Devin Vassell and Lonnie going at each other in practice and competing against each other and pushing each other because one of them's going to pass the other one. I think that's probably one of the best problems you can have going into the future of the Spurs, is having these 2 guys duke it out for that starting role, for minutes, for whatever's best for the team. I think, Lonnie coming off the bench might be what's best for the team. I don't think Lonnie's shown that he's that ready to come off the bench and really impact the game. And towards the end of this season, at the end he was starting, right? But there was like 2-3 games where they started Vassell over Lonnie. I don't know if you remember that. When Derrick White went out, the next 2 games were Vassell in the starting spot, Lonnie coming off the bench, and Lonnie didn't perform all that well. But then when they switched that and they put Lonnie back in the starting lineup, Lonnie came out way more aggressive and started taking a bunch of shots in the first quarter and really started coming into his own. So that's what I'm saying. Lonnie does better off the start, but I feel that this season is going to be very interesting, especially if Patty Mills doesn't come back or not, because Lonnie Walker being that 3-level scorer, like you said, like just like Devin Vassell is, those are your 2 3-level scorers, I think, right now on the roster. Dude, Lonnie also has a lot of playmaking potential, and I wouldn't be opposed of giving Lonnie the offense to the second unit. And I mean, where Lonnie is total control. I mean, we think back about Manu and how Manu was able to come into the game and he would either be off ball or he'll be on ball. But either way, Manu Ginobili was in control of the game, right? As soon as he stepped in. So I think what's best for the team might be giving Lonnie more opportunity, more of a green light to, and maybe even put the ball in his hands. That's why I say if Patty leaves and you have Derrick and DeJounte starting, you can sub in Lonnie Walker and give him the ball and let him run point in the second unit. That's not something that I'm totally against if he can understand how to actually run, not just play make, but actually run a team. That's something that he'll have to learn. But I mean, going up and down, bro, you give Lonnie the ball and he's playmaking for everybody. So anyways, that's just one thought. But if Lonnie starts and Devin Vassell comes off the bench for next season or 2 seasons or whatever, that's fine too. All right, guys, I'm gonna keep going through these questions. So thanks for hanging out. Make sure that if you're watching right now to please hit that like button, smash that like button, chant "Go Spurs Go," put it in the comments. Subscribe to this channel. If you want to drop a tip and support this channel, you can always do that. The link is in the description below. If you're a podcast listener, go to iTunes and Spotify and make sure that you catch the audio versions only of this show. Make sure that you guys follow me on Instagram as well at Spurs Film Room. That's where I get involved and I interact, and I'm trying to engage with you guys as much as possible. That's at Instagram. So go follow me there. All right, so let's get back to the comments here. Osmosis Jones, what's going on? Pop loves having 2 bigs, so having Luka and our center Jakob would make sense, and have Keldon be the 3. Yeah, that's where I was saying earlier. It's like it makes sense, right, to start both of them. But if it has to be one, you're trading off 2 different things. Luka has more offensive upside and is not a bad defender. And like a lot of my film rooms in this year that I did on my channel were showing how Luka has developed defensively. Because I was there, man. I was there in Vegas watching Luka Samanic play like his first few games with the Spurs, as in his rookie season. I was there and he was lost. Almost every bucket we gave on, all you had to do was move the ball a few times, catch Luka late on a rotation, and he was giving up buckets all the time, late help, right? Stuff like that. But to see where he is now, he might be one of our better help defenders on this squad. He is flying. Go check out my videos. He's flying all over the place. The one against Zion, check that one. Once I made a video of Luka versus like Zion in that game, and it shows Luka just not afraid to go and show help and recover and being totally aware of what he's supposed to be doing on the floor. And so he's not a bad defender, because we all know that Keldon is a beast on the defensive end. You can't come out here and punk Keldon. Keldon's going to come out here and punk you. That's kind of why I think he's very valuable in the starting unit. But let's entertain that idea, Osmosis Jones, right? So we got, which I love that movie, man. Osmosis Jones is hilarious. I think it's Chris Rock as the voice. Yeah. So what do you call it? Okay, so what was this? All right, so you got Jakob at the 5. You would have Luka at the 4, Keldon at the 3, which is more his position. We asked Keldon to guard a lot of big guys because he's big body. But that's asking, a lot of him. You have 2 other spots. So that would be DeJounte and Derrick, right? So Derrick, DeJounte, Keldon, three guys that don't shoot that well. But if someone is going to shoot well in that group, it's Derrick White, and then Luka would be the other shooter. Like we just told, those are two guys in the title of this video, with three of the best defenders in the league, in my opinion. Jakob Poeltl is a great defender, and I know he got toasted by Jonas Valanciunas and in the play-in game. Look, Jakob's been toasted by a lot of bigs, but at the end of the day, when you want to look across the league, he is like a top 5, top 10 rim protector, defender, communicator on the defensive end. What he does doesn't always come out in the stat sheets, even though we kind of need him to do more. Jakob, I'm not saying is the best in any way. I love Jakob. I love what he brings to the team. But if you were going to ask me, I would say we need more out of Jakob to being a factor, because every time we go down in the offensive end, for 95% of the game, we're playing 4-on-5, right? Whoever's guarding Jakob doesn't even have to worry about Jakob scoring. And I don't know if that's good for the starting units. We can play him. He can be very playable and very effective on our squad. But if you look at the rest of our starting unit, Jakob is the one that kind of doesn't fit in when you look at how can we improve our starting unit. Jakob may be the one, maybe. I don't know. All right, so yeah, it's a good question there. I don't hate it. All right, Spurs Nation's got another one. Would you want to draft best available or for need? I'm a fan of drafting Josh Giddey. Thoughts? All right, so Josh Giddey, I haven't really looked into him that much. I'll go ahead and look into him. I might know who he is, but I'm not really familiar right now with the names. I actually just started looking at draft prospects maybe like 3 days ago, right? So I'm starting to get prepared in the draft. But when it comes to the previous question, drafting for best available or drafting for need, I think the Spurs, Brian Wright came out and talked a little bit about their draft process after drafting Devin Vassell. And look, man, look at who we've drafted over our past, I don't know how many picks. I'm just gonna go back. Okay, so like DeJounte, Derrick White, Lonnie Walker, Luka Samanic. All right, so Luka's the only big, right? Guard. Then Luka. Then we got Keldon, who's kind of like power forward. So we went kind of like small forward, power forward in last year's draft. And then in this year's draft, we went Vassell and Trey Jones, guard. So, Brian Wright, the GM of the Spurs, came out and said that they draft for best available. And then they draft need. Then draft need. Like, let's say they have like all these, draft picks on the board that they still like, then they'll maybe take a secondary approach at it and be like, all right, well, which one of these two guys fill the need? But I think for the most part, it's best player available. And I'm totally cool with that. Like, let's say we didn't draft Devin Vassell because we thought we needed a big and we drafted Jalen Smith. Sound familiar? Phoenix? Yeah, so that's what Phoenix did, right? Phoenix was like, no, we're not going to draft Devin Vassell because we have Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and, those are our guards. And we're not going to, even though Devin Vassell is probably the better player, we need more of a big men help. So they drafted the next best big, and they drafted Jalen Smith. It's like, bro, they missed out. Like, Phoenix missed out on Devin Vassell, Tyrese Halliburton, Naismith, right? Like on a couple of really good players so far this season because they went with that approach. So we don't want to be like Phoenix. They also passed up on Luka Samanic. That I remember saying, not Luka Doncic. They passed up on Luka Doncic. So you want to do best available because usually it's the best available guy that can change your franchise. Okay, I see you, AG, in here. You got a question. I don't see Luka starting. He has not shown that he is an NBA caliber rotation player, much less a starter. True. KJ has shown more, and he's one of the worst starters in the league. KJ has shown more, and he's one of the worst starters in the league. So you're saying that Keldon Johnson is one of the worst starters in the league? I don't know what you mean by that, but let's break it down. You don't see Luka starting. I would agree with that because the Spurs don't make moves like that. That's why they don't usually play and give someone a huge jump over like veterans and things like that. So he has not shown that he is an NBA caliber rotation player, much less a starter. He has shown glimpses of it in the games that he has played. Man, Luka got 4 starts this season. So if you want to talk about how many games has Luka started this season in his career, 4, right? Not much, but he played in 33 games this season. Most of it was in garbage time, yes, like last 5 minutes of the game. But I think in about 70% of his sample size, if you want to look at it across the board, Luka has shown to be a hell of a prospect when he's on the floor. Some nights not so much, but some nights he shows he didn't shoot well at all. Like shooting well for Luka was not a thing this season. He shot plenty of threes, didn't make many. But I think that's just because he just hasn't found, he hasn't got his feet under him, his NBA legs, if you will. But he had a couple of really nice drives to the basket. He had a couple of nice passes here and there. On defense, he's shown a lot. So it's all up to Luka. Like, let's say Luka comes back like for 15 pounds bigger and just like wet from the 3-point line, is like bodying up bigger guys. And I wouldn't be surprised if Luka does get the start. KJ has shown more. Keldon's shown, and Keldon was NBA ready from day one. I saw that in the NBA Summer League too. He was ready from day one. I was one of the only people saying it. Y'all think it's obvious now. Well, y'all want to go back to the beginning of the 2019 season and scan across every blog post or whatever you find. Most of them are going to say he's going to go to the G League, and which he did. But I was saying that he didn't need to. I don't think he was one of the worst starters in the league. Keldon, for the first like 20 games, was one of the best starters in the league. And then around All-Star break, they started figuring him out. And then after All-Star break, Keldon had a lot of ups and downs as a starter. But I wouldn't go as far as saying that he's one of the worst. We went to him in the, like, I bet you like 80% of our opening plays were to Keldon Johnson to get us going and attacking the rim and like trying to go poster somebody to, get us started on the right foot. So I would say that Keldon's just fine as a starter. But I think we're flexible enough to have him come off the bench even if we need to, right? I think that's what we're doing. Andrew Henley, what's up, man? Luka needs time, but he showed that once he gets comfortable, his game opens up and doesn't look so stiff. Absolutely, man. Sean Elliott, Andrew, was saying it all season that his most improved player, if he can really give it to anyone on the roster, even though Luka didn't play that much, he would give it to Luka. Sean Elliott said that, right? Sean Elliott was saying that, from year one, he looked like deer in the headlights, lost. But when he played here in year two, he was active and hustling and sprinting and going and getting after it, right? So, he's trending upwards, right? Antoine Jones says we can do something big next year. Yeah, we can. But it's going to take some of these young guys to make jumps, like huge jumps, like DeJounte had this year. DeJounte had a huge jump. Derrick White should have been right there next to him, man. I mean, if we're talking about if Derrick White played he played 38 games, I believe it was something like that, 38 games this season. If Derrick White played like 58 out of the 60 or 70 whatever games, I think we would have been in much better shape. But Derrick White definitely is the key to like making another one of those jumps. Lonnie Walker needs to make a huge jump this season for us to be good. Keldon just needs to get better. Luka just needs to get more opportunity. Jakob needs to get better. But Derrick White and Lonnie need to take huge jumps in their games to make us that good, to make us special. The Rook says, I really don't think Luka will be in the league. Oh my God. The Rook. Come on, man. You're killing me here with this one. No, Luka is definitely going to be in the league. Trust me. He's like 20 years old. He's like 20 years old. Like imagine him at 24, 27, 28. Luka, like bigger, stronger, and more NBA savvy, stroking it from three, getting to the rim, playmaking, getting the ball on the rebound, and going coast to coast, stuff like that. Luka's special. The Rook. You might want to check yourself on that one. Luka's pretty special. Underrated free agent targets for the Spurs in free agency. I was looking at this the other day, actually. Let me pull it up. NBA free agents 2021. Here we have let me go ahead and look at some of the top 30 players that could hit the market, right? So we talked about Kawhi yesterday, right? Go check out yesterday's episode. I'm going to make clips from those episodes, by the way, so you don't have to watch the whole hour-long episode or whatever. I'm going to try to take some of those pieces out for you guys. And if you want to listen to the whole thing, go ahead and go for it. And especially on Apple and Spotify, go check it out. But Kawhi Leonard, right? That's one of the most interesting. If he opts out of his contract with the Clippers, does he come back home to San Antonio? Chris Paul, player option. I don't see him coming here. DeMar DeRozan, right? DeMar DeRozan's obviously a big decision there. Do we keep DeMar or do we let him go? What's best for the team? I mean, DeMar's good. Just DeMar needs help though. Kyle Lowry, right? We don't think us. We're going to bring any type of point guard. Like Mike Conley's not coming in here either. Some of the big names across Spurs Nation, Spurs Twitter and stuff is John Collins, Lauri Markkanen. Lonzo Ball is going to be a restricted free agent, so who knows where he goes. But again, like let's stop looking at guards here. Rashawn Holmes from Sacramento. That's another kind of Spurs Twitter favorite out there. He's like Keldon Johnson, but at the power forward position, like true power forward position, like he's bigger and stuff like that. So I mean, he averaged 14 a game, 8 rebounds a game this season. He's just a hell of another motor type guy that can really protect the paint, stuff like that. Okay, so Jared Allen, right, from the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't see us going out and getting another Jakob, right? Like we're not going to get another big man who can't shoot, can't score. Spencer Dinwiddie, that's interesting, but again, another guard. I don't see us bringing in that guard if it's just at this mid-level type of player here. Norman Powell, right, from Portland, player option. Not really too interested. Evan Fournier, Devontae Graham, no. Kelly Oubre, I used to like Kelly Oubre, but I don't think the fit is here anymore. Now that we have Vassell and some of these other guys. Tim Hardaway Jr. is maybe the only guard here that I like so far because we need guards that can space the floor, man. And we see what he's doing right now for Dallas. Holy crap, man. Dallas is rolling. Bro, we got to get back on the level. We're going blow for blow with the Mavericks and stuff like that. We can't let the Mavericks be the better team in our division. If it's Houston and Dallas in front of San Antonio, we're doing something wrong. But obviously Houston took a huge dip this year and they're at the bottom of our division. But Spurs Nation, you know what I'm talking about. We want to be better than the Mavericks every year. We have a lot of work to do, right? Because Luka is amazing. Doncic, right? That is. Lauri Markkanen, right? Forward out of the Chicago Bulls forward. He's very interesting. Shoots 40% from the three-point line. That's something that's interesting. Doesn't get a lot of rebounds. Only averages about 13 a game. So, I don't know. We'll see. Victor Oladipo, Duncan Robinson, restricted. Will Barton, Goran Dragic. Ibaka's got a player option, maybe Ibaka. Someone, I think Maddie over there at Spurs Film Room likes Ibaka. Someone does. Mitchell Robinson. He's a restricted free agent. We might want to take a look at from New York. And let me see. I'm gonna go through a few more of these. Montrezl Harrell off the bench for San Antonio. I like it. Bobby Portis has a player option in Milwaukee. If he decides to leave, he might be a good fit here with San Antonio. Yeah, so those are just some free agents right there off the top of this list that I found here from NBC Sports. Those are your top 30 free agents. Antoine Jones says that Trey Jones can be a good backup. Yeah, man, Trey Jones impresses me every single time I see him play. He makes mistakes, whatever, but he shows you something like new, like every game. Like one, I had no idea Trey Jones was like that high level of a scorer until he got to the G League. Now everyone can score in the G League, don't get me wrong, but the way he was scoring and like he showed to do some of it here in the NBA too. When you see Trey Jones sneaking past 1, 2, 3 guys and getting to the rim, it's like, dang, dude, like Like he's got the quickness on him. He knows how to finish as a small player. He knows how to finish and use the backboard, use the rim, how to keep players behind him. So finishing at the rim is not going to be a problem. He needs to add the mid-range jumper or a open 3-ball jumper, off the dribble 3-ball jumper, even if he can. Like he's got to add the jump shot, man. But Trey Jones, man, he's shown a lot, and he's aggressive. He's not scared. I've seen him body up bigger guys. Like when he gets switched off of guys and he ends up like on a forward or a center. He's not afraid to dig in there and body guys up. So he's tough, and he knows how to run the offense too. I mean, he's a solid point guard, and that's another pick earlier that we're talking about in this chat. Do we draft best available or for fit? I mean, easily in the second round, we could have tried to draft a shooter. We could have drafted a big guy, like Desmond. I don't know if Desmond Bane went before us or after us, but he was a second round guy. Like there was a lot of really good, like hidden talent in the second round, and we went with Trey Jones, which another guard. How many guards do we have? A bunch, right? But Trey Jones, man, that's interesting to see him develop. Is going to be a lot of fun for Spurs Nation. I think I think Spurs Nation is going to love Trey Jones. Trey Jones can walk up the streets of San Antonio, up and down the streets of San Antonio, and you probably think he's just like any other guy out there. But bro, man, he might be special. As a second rounder, I mean, I was really high on Quindary Weatherspoon, and I still am. Like that's another guy who no one ever talks about is Quindary. Quindary had a hell of a rookie season in Austin. He was hurt a lot this year as well. Like Quindary is another one of those guys that never got to get into the fold. And like if you're hurt in the beginning of the season and you're not already a solidified rotation guy, it's almost impossible for you to get minutes, right? So Quindary, that's kind of what happened to him. It's not that he's not good enough, man. Quindary can 3-level score too. He can hit the three, he can jam it on you, finish in the rim, he can post up, he can do a lot of things. Defensively, he's hit and miss sometimes, but he was someone that we're very high on too. He was our second round pick from last year, right? So we have Quindary Weatherspoon and we have Trey Jones, our last 2 second round picks, and they're both guards and they both have a different skill set, but they're both kind of combo Trey Jones is a point guard, right? But Quindary can either be a 1 or 2. And I think he played a lot of off ball in Austin. I went to a game in Austin and I've seen a lot of Austin basketball with his rookie season last year. And I think Robinson was the point guard. I'm forgetting the name in Austin. But yeah, no, so Quindary played a lot off ball there as well. So, all right, guys. So that's it right now in the chat room. Again, if you appreciate this show, if you want to contribute and support it in any way, really appreciate that. All you got to do is go to the link in the description below. It's going to take you to the tipping page here for Spurs Film Room. You can go ahead and drop a tip. Monday through Thursday, when I take questions from you guys, I take them via either the super chat feature on YouTube, or if you want to link, if you have a PayPal, go ahead and link it up and drop tips here down here where it says tip message is where you would put your question and your username so I can give you the shout out that you deserve. I want to give you guys the social media a shout out and all that type of stuff, right? So go ahead, and if you feel so inclined and you want to contribute and support the channel, go ahead and click the link in the description below to the tip jar. But you don't just have to do that. You can go ahead and hit the like button down below, smash subscribe, the notification bell, guys. I'm going live a lot more, right? So, if you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify, I'm talking about our YouTube channel, right? This is a live show. Most of the time I'm going live on YouTube and Facebook. But Facebook's getting a little bit difficult to do because I need to share it. I need to do all these things on Facebook. So I might be shifting up over totally to YouTube. So if you're not watching right now on YouTube, make sure that you go to YouTube and you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you'll get notified when I go live. Trying to go live at least for this off season and for the summer. The plan, I already talked to my wife about it and everything. She gave me the okay, which means that I'm going to try here to go live every day if it's going to be beneficial, right? So if the super chats come in, the tips come in, subscribe to me also on Apple and Spotify. When you listen to my stuff there, that brings in some revenue too. So as long as I got the okay from the wife, I'm gonna go ahead and try to do that. So Monday through Friday is gonna be the schedule that I'm gonna be working on. And what do you call it? What was I saying right now? Oh yeah, Monday through Fridays, the schedule I'm going to be working on. Fridays, I would like to keep trying to do maybe this, unless there's bigger news to talk about. But I want to try to do a Q&A live where I can get as many of your comments and questions and takes on screen as possible. But Monday through Thursday, they're only coming in via super chat or through the tip jar link in the description below. All right, that helps me out a lot, so I really appreciate that. I'm going back to look at it right now. Man, since yesterday's video, I've gotten like 25 new subscribers, I think it was, on my channel. So that was crazy to see all those subscribers come in. Spurs Nation, thank you for subscribing today. Any of my new subscribers out there, I really appreciate y'all. Again, go follow me on Instagram if you have an Instagram. My Instagram stories, I put a lot of polls and countdowns for you, and just like I ask you guys a lot of feedback. That's where I kind of let you know what the next show is going to be about, because whenever news kind of drops in the Spurs world, that'll give me the opportunity to make to title the show whatever. But I definitely want to start going on daily with you guys Monday through Friday. So make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, because I'm not quite locked into a time yet. I'm checking out the PM schedules right now. This week I did a 4 o'clock show, 5 o'clock show, and a 6 o'clock show. That's pretty much as late as I'm going to go during the week. I would like to maybe start going in the morning, or maybe around 9 or 10 a.m. I might try a few morning shows out next week. So you don't know. I can't really tell you right now. So the best thing for you to do is hit that notification bell. Go to YouTube, hit that notification bell, and you'll get notified when I go live. All right, guys. So thank you guys for tuning in. Again, before you go, smash that like button if you enjoyed this episode. Put a comment in there, even if it's Go Spurs Go. Put a shout out to where you guys are from. I really like to know where my audience is, if it's in San Antonio, if it's in Canada, Australia, the Philippines, Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Croatia, right? We have Spurs Nation fans. We're global. Canada, right? We're all over the place. Mexico, a lot of Spurs Nation is all over the world, not just in San Antonio, but to San Antonio, Countdown City, Fiesta Town. Shout out to all my Spurs Nation fans out there in San Antonio. Like to grow more in that market as well. So thank you guys. If you like this episode, share it to a friend. If you're listening to the podcast, say, hey, you want to listen to a nice Spurs podcast, recommend it. I really appreciate that, guys. So that really helps me go a long way here and growing. So that's going to be it for today. All right. Go Spurs, go. I'll catch you guys on the next one, Spurs Nation. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little clip of my motion offense video on my channel. If you like the clip, go ahead and check out the video. All right. See you on the next one. What's going on, Spurs Nation? You're watching another episode of Spurs Film Room. I'm Coach Rob Trejo Jr., and the Spurs really flipped the script offensively inside of the bubble. With LaMarcus Aldridge out, they went from a half-court execution type offense all season long to a spread out, 4-out, 1-in motion style offense, which makes a lot of sense with the team that we had in Orlando. We had our best shooters out: Trey Lyles, Bryn Forbes, Marco Bellinelli missed a few games. Patty Mills missed a few games, and I don't think was even really supposed to play in the bubble. So we needed to rely on putting our head down, getting to the paint, create open shots for others by collapsing that defense, and then when you compound that with great spacing, which the Spurs did fantastically in the bubble, and then with both ball strong side actions and weak side actions happening continuously, a lot of ball movement, a lot of player movement, and that's what the Spurs were able to put together in Orlando, which made them very successful. All right, in this Spurs film room, let's look at a few ways the Spurs played within this system. We're going to look at how they executed through secondary break. We're going to look how they initiated the offense with the wing entry, ball screens, and the ball reversal.
Welcome to the film room.